Good morning to all of you once again on the viral cover. Right now, I'm with Adam sir. So, sir, first of all, welcome to our
Thank you.
YouTube channel. And my first question, sir, because we are right now researching on the Northeast India, how this especially like someone who's a journalist from Northeast India. First of all, sir, when we see like the national newspaper, the national editions of any kind of newspaper, so how do you feel as a journalist when that Northeast India didn't get that kind of place on that national newspaper?
To a certain amount, I also understand that there can be constraints in terms of geography, in terms of resources, and see, when you're talking about the national media, I'm supposing you're talking about the newspapers that are based in Delhi, for example. So obviously, the primary readership is based in Delhi, or based in some of the larger metropolitan cities, right? Now, even within the national media, of course, for example, the Hindu, based in headquartered in Chennai, they'll be writing a lot about the southern part of India, the southern states. They'll probably have more correspondents. They'll probably have more bureaus in the southern states. So it's only commonsensical, and they do it. Same thing with, for example, the Telegraph, which is a national newspaper, but at the same time they would focus a lot on the eastern part of India. And again, obviously, anyone would want more coverage of their home regions, but there are obviously these limitations inherent. But at the same time, I think there is increasingly more attention being paid to the region, and I think a lot of media houses are willing to perhaps spend more than they used to do, but at the same time, obviously there needs to be one, I think, more local talent, and also more representation on the desk, for example, in the editing rooms and the desks of major newspapers, which I think will be evolving more and more. So yeah, that would be my reply.
Yes, sir. Sir, you have a long time experience with the Indian Express. You have worked a lot for the Indian Express. You have covered the Gujarat. Most, I think, according to me, you have traveled all over the India. Then, how you find the like Northeast different from the other regions of the India? Because when we went to the other regions of India, the people are more vocal, but when it comes on the Northeast, people are not vocal, not comfortable with the media or with the journalists. So what do you think, what's the reason behind that?
Well, a lot of it would be cultural, and also exposure to media, like we mentioned before. But also at the same time, your work as a good journalist is to be able to try and put whoever you're interviewing or talking to at ease, so that they want to also kind of open up to you, right? So I think in my experience, there might be differences in terms of being more vocal and all of that, but at the same time, if you're assiduous enough, you can get people to talk to you. You just have to be respectful of different local cultures and all of that, and it's not undoable.
Sir, if I'll ask you, sir, there is some regions like they will more like their privacy, or they will like shy in front of like someone who came from other state, or someone who came from totally another region. So maybe there could be a reason while when they give the priority to their privacy. Must be a reason, according to what do you think?
No, I think it's a lot of. See, one is always language barrier. For example, when I was working in other parts of the country, and I can't speak the local language,
Yes.
then there's always that problem, right? So especially with common people, the general public, there's always that barrier that exists due to issues of language. So if someone can speak very fluent, for example, we're in Mizoram, and someone from elsewhere, reporter from elsewhere, suppose they should be, of course, almost quite rare, but if they can speak the local language very fluently, then obviously it'll be much easier for him. Similarly, if someone from Delhi or the northern part of the country can go to, for example, in Tamil Nadu, rural Tamil Nadu, and speak Tamil fluently, then obviously they'll be able to so
There's a communication barrier
that
due to
communication,
because of the
it's always there.
yeah.
It's
Okay,
always
sir.
there.
My next question is, sir, as a journalist, you have a long time experience, especially in the Northeast. You have been a correspondent for the Indian Express, a Northeast correspondent for the Indian Express. So, what do you think, sir? What are the difficulties you have faced as a journalist in the Northeast?
Well, my experience hasn't been that, that, what do you call, it's been limited in the sense that, even within Northeast, although I report extensively from Mizoram and all other states, but most of the other states, I wasn't a resident.
Yeah,
I wasn't living there, so
yeah,
I would travel from here for maybe a few weeks and
yeah. But
all
sir,
of that.
as
So
a
one thing definitely is that logistics is always a problem, especially in Northeast, because they're different states. One, nothing is because of the topography, the terrain, the logistics, the costs are extremely high. Costs tend to be quite prohibitive for a lot of newsrooms also. So a lot of places you can only get in either by vehicles or by flight. So that becomes expensive in that way, and the
sir,
terrain also increases transportation costs.
yeah. But sir, yeah, one thing is transportations, and another thing is, sir, like you are very much familiar of with this place, with the Mizoram and with the Northeast. So, sir, as a like you know most of the things about the Mizoram. What is the culture? What is the food? But how you see like the environmentally, how you see the Mizoram, like what are the difficulties? Have you troubled a lot of times due to the landslide, because most of the times landslide have been taking place in the Mizoram? Have you faced difficulties due to that while reporting?
Well, in any kind of natural calamity, it's always you see you can report about these things, but you also need to think about their safety also, right? So in terms of natural calamities, it's you have you also need to be able to report from at least a reasonably safe distance, not always physically,
Yeah.
but also you need to be aware of these things, and you can't just rush headlong. uh, you need to respect for example, the disaster authorities, maybe the police, the health authorities. They're asking you to remain in a safe distance, and it's also worth your while to obey those.
Sir, my next question is like, if you see the Northeast India politically, how you find the Northeast India totally different from the other areas as politically, because the political scenario of the Northeast India is totally different. Especially if I talk about the Mizoram, how you see the politics in Mizoram?
Mizoram traditionally has, for example, much higher turnout during elections than most other states. So that also points to, for example, a pretty good, vibrant democracy, that people care about elections and electing their representatives. It's high, usually in the high 80s. In campaigning as well, there's quite a amount of, I mean, nothing's perfect, and it's not perfect. There's quite a lot of uh, you know respect and moderation that is there, which is a lot a part of the culture here as well. You have, for example, the no honking thing in Aizawl traffic. So in some ways, I guess there also filters into the way that political campaigns are. There is a certain amount of respectfulness that's also there. It varies from place to place and also from party or candidate to candidate, but
Sir, if I'll talk about the recent case that a recent the railway line was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So there is a lot of Mizo people who actually welcomed that decision, and there's a lot of people who's denying the decision of the government. They think their privacy is going to be uh, they need privacy, especially. So some people wants the development and some people wants the privacy. So what do you think, like the uh, what are the reason why the northeast is not be developed as compared with the mainland of India?
I'm not so sure about the privacy part, but obviously there are. Uh, there was a lot of welcoming of the, because people hope that, again, like I mentioned earlier to your earlier question, is that logistics is always an issue in the northeast because of the terrain, because of the distance from the rest of the country. And I think a lot of people also feel that it'll make travel time easier, it'll make transportation costs at least slightly cheaper. So I think people are welcoming the train network to Aizawl because of that. But of course, we've always had this train network to Bhairabi, which is at the border between Mizoram and Assam. So this is a new, what do you call, recent development in terms that Aizawl city or somewhere very close to Aizawl at least has this rail connectivity now.
So recent Beggary bill was passed by the government. So what do you think? What are the most of the people's take on that Beggary bill? What you have noticed as a journalist?
There was some talk about it, although it was drowned out by other issues. But I think mainly people were felt that this was a move to, in anticipation of what the railways, the entry of the railways into Aizawl could bring in terms of begging and all of that. So I think a lot of the feedback from the community was fairly positive on that bill.
So thank you, sir, for joining us, and
Thank you for having me.
thank you, sir.